So in August 11th of 1999, I had went to Bucharest, Romania to see a total solar eclipse of the sun, which happened to be the very last total solar visible for the 20th century. Now, I observed totality from a balcony area at the Intercontinental Hotel, which is in downtown Bucharest. And it also happened that the president of Romania and the opera singer Luciano Pavarotti actually stayed at that very same hotel. Unfortunately, I never did see them. Pavarotti performed an open-air concert at the palace built by the late communist dictator Nicolae Ceausescu, also known as the Palace of the Parliament, after the eclipse. It was supposed to be that evening. I did tour that building, and it is huge. I mean, the Palace of the Parliament is just unbelievable. It is the second largest building in the world, the Pentagon in the United States being the largest. And as a side note, the Palace of the Parliament is the heaviest building in the world, weighing in at over 9 billion pounds. Really an unbelievable place to see. Now in Bucharest, the length of totality, also known as the umbral duration, as listed by NASA in their circular, was 2 minutes 22 seconds. And at that point, at mid-eclipse, the sun was 59 degrees in altitude and 202 degrees in azimuth. Now, and that is for a location at 44 degrees 26 minutes north, 26 degrees 6 minutes east. The absolute maximum length for this eclipse was just 1 second longer at 2 minutes and 23 seconds. So I did very well at the location that I was at. Well, so when I'm there, you know, you're touring all around, and of course I happen to see these banknotes that were specifically put out for the eclipse in Romania and to commemorate that eclipse. So I ended up buying 2 of those. Now I don't remember what I paid for them. I just can't remember. Now these happen to be sold at the Intercontinental Hotel, and they came with the commemorative folder. And the thing that is interesting about this is that the banknote is made from a polymer substrate, not your ordinary paper, and they were issued as legal tender. Now I have to confess, I'm not sure if this is considered 2 lu or 2,000 lu. I'm certainly no expert on this money, but it says 2.000, and then I've seen some show 2,000 without the decimal point there. But the value today, if it was 2 lu, would be 46 cents in U.S. currency. If it was 2,000 lu, the value today in U.S. currency would be $462.85. So I've got to assume that this is just 2. So I do know one thing: I paid a whole lot more than 46 cents. For some reason, I'm thinking around $60. I don't know why I think that number. It's been so long ago. Don't know if it was for both of them a piece, but that's just something that sticks in my head. But so anyways, I just bring that out because I'm not sure. If somebody does know, please let me know. Now this banknote was designed by Romanian artist Nicolae, and I'll spell his last name, Saftiu, and he has designed all the Romanian banknotes printed since 1989. This banknote is made from a polymer substrate. It is 142 millimeters long by 62 millimeters wide. and for the total eclipse of the sun in August 11th of 1999, and also to commemorate the new millennium, the National Bank of Romania issued the 2000 leu note, the first polymer-based note in Europe and in the Northern Hemisphere. These were limited to 1 million pieces, and each one contained a special low-numbered banknote with the series 001A, of which both of these ones I bought do have the 001A. Now they came in this envelope. And they came in between this plastic sleeve. And here is the English. So polymer banknotes incorporate many security features not available in paper notes. Polymer banknotes will last significantly longer than paper notes, and that effect will have a reduction in the cost of replacement. Modern polymer banknotes were first developed by the Reserve Bank of Australia, and they were issued as currency in 1988, coinciding with Australia's bicentennial year. In 1996, Australia switched completely to the polycarbonate note. David Solomon, a polymer chemist, is an Australian scientist who worked with the Reserve Bank to design these polymer banknotes. Plastic notes will last 2.5 times longer than paper, and that equates to an average circulation of 5 to 6 years. Polymer banknotes are totally waterproof, they're hard to counterfeit, and relatively cleaner because they are resistant to moisture and dirt. Here's some of their paper money. Very colorful. And while I was in Romania, we ended up going south into Bulgaria. So I did end up collecting some money from there. And the lady there, I remember she was very helpful. As I was pulling money out to buy this, she said, "Oh, be careful." She said she didn't want me to get robbed. I thought that was interesting. But I gotta say, I saw the cleanest McDonald's. The absolute cleanest McDonald's. They were there cleaning, scrubbing the floors. It was absolutely clean. I was really amazed. And we ended up eating there. And this is my favorite. And look at that. That's interesting how that is over here. But I like this one the most because it has a telescope on the back side. Have no idea what they're using for what their denomination is called, but had to get a few pieces before I left. Now we're looking at the front side of this. I'm holding it up to my picture window. So you're probably going to see back through the other side a little bit. Now this is going to be the side with the country on it, Romania, the reverse side. And as I go down, you'll see where that's transparent. Now look at that detail in there. It's very interesting how they did that. I can see why you couldn't reproduce this. Let's go over to this other one. There you have 001A. Here we see it shows 1999. Here on the back side, you see the serial number of the banknote, 001A 0512173. Here we're seeing part of the Romania map and some of the serial number of the banknote. Just tons of detail here, just tons of detail. What you see here on the back side of the banknote, the back right, translates in the center there. It'll translate into English. Counterfeiting of these banknotes is punishable by law. This is the back side, and I'm just taking a closer look at the notification if you falsify the banknote. And look at all that detail, all those lines in there. Isn't that something? Here we are looking at the front side of the banknote, and to your upper left is the coat of arms of Romania. Okay, on the back side of the banknote, we're taking a close-up of the Romanian bank logo. We are looking at the front side of the banknote, the front face, the left side and I've got it turned long ways here to take a look at that edge, a close-up of the writing. This is on the front side, right, and I've got it turned the long way, so we're looking at the edge. This is the back side. We're looking at the back face, the right side of it, just the other side of the map of the eclipse track. Here you see the back side, the close-up of the center line of the eclipse track in Romania. And you'll see Bucharest on the center line to your lower right. Alright, so this is the front of the banknote. Let's take a look at the planets here. I'm missing something. And they're not in order either from the sun. So this should be the sun on the left side of the banknote. I'm going to go in the center there. That looks like probably a planet. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the 8th one being Saturn. I, for the life of me, cannot find what I would think to be 9 planets. And Pluto was not decommissioned a planet until August of 2006 by the International Astronomical Union, as and then it became a dwarf planet. So I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. And again, they're definitely not in order, because Saturn wouldn't be way out here. So not a big deal. It's still a very interesting piece, but like I said, I just couldn't see anything there. If any of you guys know, please let me know. Doing a little more research, I found out that these were discontinued in 2005 from circulation, and on Leftover Currency they have information about that and how you can actually turn them in for money. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. So, for the heck of it, I put in that I had 2 of those banknotes. I see that it's not worth a damn. Unbelievable. 0.04 pounds sterling equals 0.053 United States dollars. And also from the website leftovercurrency.com, it does state that before the old leu was revalued, it was one of the world's least valued currency units, which explains why 4 zeros were dropped in 2005. So I'm not sure how you say this. Is it 2,000 leu? Is it 2 leu? I don't know. And the thing is, I don't know how much I paid for these. For some reason, $60. I don't know. I just don't know how much I paid back then in '99 when I bought those. And again, I bought those at the hotel, the Intercontinental. They had them. They were selling them. So I'm sure they were making money on them for the tourists. So I'm sure I paid way more than what they were worth. But you know what? I'm glad that I have them. And where it says the new denominations are, I thought that was interesting. You can read that. Pause the video. I found this website that is selling those 2000 Lu Eclipse banknotes. Which looks like it would cost $3.32 US. And this is a description of that. On eBay you can find quite a few people selling these. On eBay, this is one of the first ones that I've seen that actually have the folder included. I found this on eBay and it says low serial number. But when you look at a close-up of the bill, it's 008E. Mine is 001A, which I have found is where they started. So this would not be this would be, in my opinion, from an older run and not part of the original 1999, the earliest run of 001A. So, and here is a close-up of the map of Romania showing the eclipse track, the center line, and you'll see the very center there where Bucharest is. That's the center line, and as you move away you'll see lines on both sides. There'll be 4 lines on one side of the center line and 4 lines on the other, and that denotes that the further away from the center line, the shorter totality will be. Your longest duration is going to be on the center line. This map is going to be from the NASA publication RP 1398, Fred Espenak and Jay Anderson. And what we're going to see is, first, on the center line is the greatest point of the eclipse. Here I was in Bucharest. So the greatest eclipse occurs when the moon's axis, the shadow axis, is closest to the Earth's center. This is showing the profile of the moon within that path of totality, which for this eclipse, the maximum width was 69.5 miles. So within that 69.5 miles, you have the center line, you have the northern limit, you have the southern limit, and then if we look at the times, we see how they differ from the center line, which at the maximum point was 2 minutes 23 seconds. So 2 minutes 23 seconds, and then it would go to 2 minutes 1.5, 1 minute. Then as you got to the furthest southern or northern limits, it would drastically reduce to where if you were standing within just the right area, you could be down to seconds and literally see just seconds. So the speed of the moon's shadow at maximum eclipse, which is a duration of 2 minutes 23 seconds, the moon's shadow will be moving at 0.680 kilometers per second, which equals 1,521 miles per hour. Now, this is going to be a demonstration from timeanddate.com of that eclipse in Romania. Now, here we're seeing darkness in the varying shades right here of daylight. So this is total darkness, and you're going to have astronomical twilight, nautical twilight, and then civil, and then full daylight at sunrise. So let me just start this. Now you'll start to see the shadow coming onto the earth. So you see how elongated that is because of the fact that, again, the angle that it's coming onto the earth. Here you see the dark, where that's going to be the maximum umbral part that's going to cause totality. You'll notice how it starts to round out more now. And when it gets to the point, actually it was back a little bit here, I'll back it up just a second. And when you get to the point when the moon's center is closest to the center of the earth and it rounds out at the maximum, okay, that's when you'll get your maximum totality. And then here we're starting to recede as it goes off, and totality times will start to lessen by a certain percentage, depending on what the width of the shadow is. And here you're starting to see it leave the earth out into space. Here you're starting to see the night side of the earth coming in. And there, the totality has already left the earth. We'll do one more demonstration, also from timeanddate.com. Now here, because of the different projection we're seeing, this is full darkness, the dark, and then here's the varying degrees of astronomical, nautical, and then civil twilight. And also from time and date, let's take a look at what the eclipse would look like near the maximum point of totality. Now it's just repeating itself. And let's just take a look at the eclipse map from time and date. There's Bucharest, which is also the capital city of Romania, which was the beauty of that trip, as I was able to make accommodations. It's an international airport, very easy to fly into, and with lots of accommodations. And there you see the specifics on the different phases during the partial and total phases. This is showing the sky during totality. This is care of NASA, Fred Espenak. This is the southern sky. There you'll see the zenith is right here at that cross. And these are the planets and the stars that are visible at that time. The constellation of Orion, Mercury, Venus. Well, so after looking at my pictures, I see that I did take a GPS unit with me. It was a GPS 12, a Garmin, and this is the position that I observed totality from. 44 degrees, 26 minutes, 11.3 seconds north. 26 degrees, 6 minutes, 7.6 seconds east. And so here's a picture I took. The Intercontinental is this building right here. And again, I shot film, so that's what we're looking at here. This would be obviously in downtown Bucharest. Now here's two pictures of the Intercontinental where we observed. And I thought that I observed from a balcony. It's been so many years, but I guess it was just a... I think it was a little bit higher level, but it was a large area there that you can see because that's where I observed from. So it really wasn't a balcony. But in any event, you'll see the Intercontinental Hotel. And on the left is a picture I took well before totality. Now the one on the left, or I'm sorry, the right, was taken just after totality. Okay, probably within just a few minutes of totality. So you can see how the picture was still affected by the extremely low light level of the sun because it was a very thin crescent. And you can even see the sky, the blue, how it's deeper in the right picture than in the left. And when I do these pictures, I always have the exposure set to the same, so that way the only thing that changes is the amount of illumination and not the exposure in the picture. In this picture, we're taking a look at my Nikon camera body. It was a Nikon F4, and attached to the F4 is a 500 millimeter mirror lens system, a catadioptic, 500 f8 with a TC14B teleconverter 1.4 time, giving me 700 millimeters at f11 effective focal length and focal ratio. And I have the waist level finder on my F4, so instead of looking through the viewfinder like you normally would, that I can take the pentaprism off, put on a waist level so that I'm looking straight down into it, which makes it so much easier to use. And this was taken before totality, obviously around fairly close to the beginning of totality. And here is that lens and teleconverter. And the pictures are 4x6, so you can kind of see how small that lens is for 500 millimeters. It really works out perfect when you're traveling and doing eclipse photography. I actually bought this lens specifically way back when I went to my my second Total Solar, which was in Baja, California, July 11th, 1991. And it makes an ideal lens for eclipse photography. And again, it's so portable. Now this is showing during totality. Yes, we did have some clouds there. But I did see it. It was through some thin clouds. And they would move on us too. but you can see how dark it was. This was taken with a 16mm full frame fisheye lens. Now here's a picture just prior to totality. This was taken with no filter. Obviously, I have a filter on the front of the camera. I focus. I'm using the waist level finder, which makes it so much easier. I step back, pull the filter, and then I take a picture. And I always, for stuff like this, a picture like this, I'll bracket. I know what my exposures are for totality, but I'll bracket. In fact, I even bracket those. And here we see just the very thinnest of crescent, which was actually filtered by the clouds. So that was diminished by the clouds, and I was able to take that just prior to totality. So let's take a look at that picture. I'm going to go up close on it. If you look in the center, see how thin that sliver is of the photosphere? The photosphere is the visible surface of the sun that you see with your eye. You can't see the corona with the naked eye other than with a total eclipse to block out the bright photosphere. And then you see how it is towards the top too. And the reason that it's so bright here is because it's a little bit thicker here than it is at the cusp there, and it just overexposes. But so we were getting very, very close to totality. Now here's a picture showing totality. Again, there was thin clouds. See all the little red prominences? And here we see at third contact the emergence, what they call here the diamond ring, the photosphere, the light peeking around the mountains of the moon in profile. And so this will herald the ending of totality. Now I thought this was cool. They had postcards. They were just basically black. And this is in Romanian. And there's the date. So they had the postcard in Romanian. Then they also had them in the English translation. So it's Bucharest by day for the eclipse, and they're showing black because, again, on a play on the fact that it's going to be dark. And so in Romanian, that means Bucharest by day. And I don't recall, again, it's been so many years ago, but I happened to have the guy sign the back of another one that I had that actually did those cards.